Hello, everyone. Happy Monday morning. I'm David Gussin.
And I'm Jody Jacobs.
And welcome to
Hello, Long Island.
Hello, Long Island. I hope you had a great week and joining us new one. Hello, Jody Jacobs. How are you today?
I'm terrific. How are you, David?
I'm doing good. Are you still smiling? I know you and your band were playing at Napa Tandy.
I know. I still haven't gone to bed yet since Saturday night.
Really?
So.
I feel like you look much better than me.
It's a lot of makeup.
So you had a nice weekend?
It was good. You know what? It was terrific just because it was two different fundraisers over the weekend. They both were really well attended. Saturday we were down at Napa Tandy's in Northport for the Eaton's Neck Youth Club and a girls basketball team. They had lots of raffle baskets and prizes, and I want to give a shout out to Tito Batista, who came down and actually
Tito Batista?
I know.
He sounds like he's good at something.
He's coming. He's going to be playing at the Engelman Theater in Northport. He is an accomplished musician. He's local to Huntington. He gives back all the time. He's just a wonderful, wonderful guy. He and his wife Barbara came down special from New Jersey, drove out from an event they were at.
A lot of action in Northport. It's very beautiful there. Yeah. I know that's your neck of the woods.
I grew up there. Yeah, that's my alma mater there.
A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff this week, Joe. But before we get to it, you were before you went on in the band. I saw you at a real estate function. I saw you all over Long Island. Where were you igniting business? What are you up to?
Well, I only had one day last week. You're going to have to fill us in on all the other days because I managed to pick one day, and I ended up being at the Long Island Commercial Real Estate Expo on Tuesday. I was there as a guest of John Hassler from 2000 Computer Solutions and was able to take in that whole show. So it was a great show. We met a lot of very interesting people that came in, and actually a lot of the fellow exhibitors that were there. Everybody has a technology need. John is just tremendous when it comes to so many different aspects of your technology. So we were real busy there. I want to give a shout out to Lenny Marks, who was doing the headshots there. He ended up doing some great photos. If you need a corporate photo, I would definitely go see him. We might get a couple for us. I don't know. Maybe we need that.
Before we get to this week's event, I see John's been sending out a warning. He says, this is important. Safeguard your information. Protect your identity. Microsoft nor its partners make unsolicited phone calls to your home or business, so on and so forth. The reason John's telling his people about it is business owners and homeowners that be getting phone calls. It's all a scam, making you spend money on stuff that you don't need to.
Right.
You know a little bit more about this?
As of April, there is going to be no support for Microsoft XP and another platform. John's got the information there. They're exploiting this. So if there's something that you need as far as your technology, you're concerned that some of your programs aren't going to be supported, you definitely need to go down and actually talk to somebody who knows a little bit more about that. So John would be a great place to start, and we always appreciate you getting that information out. Let me just show you, though. This David's newsletter, which I printed out just to show the events for this week, is now up to 20 pages. But if you ever thought about sharing information, David has the gamut uncovering everything going on Long Island. So if there's one thing that you print out and look at and maybe kill a tree over on Sunday, it might be this, and bring it with you so you know where to be during the week.
There's a lot of great people doing lots of great things. Today's show is sponsored by our friends at Blue Chip and the hundreds of Long Island companies that we deal with. I got the best job in Long Island. I get to report on all the great business activity going on. I really just I keep a calendar, and people feed me well and stuff like that. I get a couple of hugs now and then. Right, it's a pretty good gig.
Well, now you were out last week because I know you were down in my neck of the woods on Wednesday.
What was I doing Wednesday? I already forgot.
Weren't you down at the opening?
Oh, man, how could I forget that? Capital One Bank. We ignited business, had a business summit at Capital One Bank. Lots of great people, lots of great connections. We have a big week. Before I start telling people about what's going on this week, I just don't want to miss if you have anything you want to let them know about this week, because otherwise we got a full schedule for this week.
No, I'm wiped out from last week. We're just also thankful from Rita Mahoney Zucala for Racing for an Alternative. That was yesterday, another fundraiser that was very well attended, thanks to your support on this show.
Thank God, you bringing all the good stuff in the community. Anyway, this week, tomorrow night, we will be at the Old Pub, another top of the morning to you. Great food there. I went out for dinner there Saturday night on my own. On Wednesday, I'm honored. We're going to be speaking at the Constant Contact seminar taking place at the Islandia in Marriott. And Friday, we have a real estate luncheon once again at your mother's house. Not your mother's house. Not your mother's house,
my mother's not cooking.
Your mother's house, and they have great stuff. Joe, today's show, it's a very, it's a topical topic. It's about stress.
No, I don't know anything about that.
You don't know? You don't seem stressed. I don't seem stressed at all.
I hide it well.
Anyway, it's about stress. Actually, hopefully it's about alleviating stress. And hopefully it's about, not hopefully, it's definitely about synergies. because we have two stress experts. One thing we're big on speaking of in the business community is opening up your streams of income and synergies. Some people, look at me and you. Me, you, and Blue Chip.
Yep.
We're all in the marketing business.
Right.
So we could look at each other like, oh, you're in marketing, oh, I'm in marketing, and nice to meet you, and then say goodbye to each other. Man, we can look at each other, have a tremendous
Powerful
amount of
connections,
respect for each other, realize that we have our own things that we work on, but realize that there's an incredible mushrooming effect of great things that happen when great people work together. I'm still trying to deliver on my end to you, but you've done wonderful.
You've more than paid up. Thank you.
Yeah, anyway, we're going to get back to stress.
I never leave stress.
What do you
it's
do
kind
for
of my,
stress? What do you do?
Usually, and it's funny, I usually do exercise a lot just to try to offset it that way. I should probably meditate. I should slow down, but I'm kind of a human doing, not a human being. So, but that's usually what I end up doing, and I internalize it by being busier. Actually, I've watched some people that react to stress actually withdraw, and other people just get busy so they don't think about it so much. So,
I guess I'll say.
How about you?
Me, it's funny, you do those nice things and you withdraw and stuff like that. I'm a big believer in you get in your car and you let out this big primal scream, roar! And then you start your day from there. But I think our experts...
I think we better get you some other coping skills.
I can do better than just a good solid roar. That roar's worked for me over the years. It doesn't hurt, a little bit of that.
Well, you roar when you're happy, you roar when you're mad, you roar evidently now when you're stressed. I'm not even going to ask go where else you roar. So.
Anyway, I'm gonna bring out both our guests today. Both our guests are here already. We have our regular correspondent, Eugenia Carahalius. Hi, Eugenia. Nice to see you, Eugenia. Jody, Eugene, you guys know each other. It was love at first sight.
Yes.
And we have Bill Souls from Stress Solutions of Long Island. Nice to have you here,
Hi,
Bill.
David.
Great.
Hi, Jody.
Bill, Jody, Bill.
Yeah, by the way, David, I heard you on the Northern State last week.
Oh, that was me. You should have texted. Oh, no texting and
There's going to be no roaring while driving, too, depending how much you get into it.
Guys, in planning this show, I was really excited. Wrong for me to say you should be honored. That would be much. But to me, it was an honor to have you here to say something that I've been telling people for years. And it's about professionals working together, guys. You have people, you come to these events, and Jeannie and Bill, they're in the same field. They're both therapists. Yet they are associates of each other. They work off of each other. They have a professional respect for each other that over the years, I think you might know Bill longer than we even know each other, Jeannie. You guys both benefit from each other and learn from each other. So ladies first, Jeannie, two therapists working together. Why aren't you guys fighting?
Because we actually like each other.
Why? Bill, why do you like her? No, let's go, Jeannie. Why aren't you guys fighting?
There's no reason to, because there is a true synergy here. We complement each other. We respect each other. We have the credentials. We do the continuing education. We know we're at the top of our game. So we feel so comfortable referring to each other.
So even though you're both therapists,
It's an easy...
you work together.
And yes.
And actually, as far as working together, we end up being on the steering committees of very similar functions. For example, the Mid-Island Clinical Connection, which meets on a monthly basis. We're also very involved with Families in Supportive Treatment, FIST. So our paths continually cross.
And always adding a different dynamic, even though your fields are the same. So.
Yeah, very, very nice. Jeannie, you're our correspondent. I was reading a paper yesterday. It was Elron Scott, I think her name is. I don't want to get it wrong, but
okay.
Mick Jagger's girlfriend. And unfortunately, she took her life. And the article in the paper yesterday, and I can envision it on Long Island, I can envision it in networking, people going out there, they're putting up fronts of wonderfulness, of everything's great, everything's great, everything's great. All her friends couldn't believe what happened. And then something terrible like that happened. So not that particular incident, but stress and people working and putting up fronts and hiding
that pain in such a way in a public.
You're our therapist correspondent here.
What do you look for? I mean, is that something that many people do? I mean, as far as trying to hide that way?
A lot of people do isolate, and I would caution people against doing that because suicide is a very permanent solution to mostly what could be just a temporary situation. And when you isolate, you're not utilizing positive coping skills. You're not utilizing your resources at all. And people were not meant to go it alone in this world.
I kind of look at it sometimes like, because I know I'm usually a very positive person, and if I'm ever not positive, I'm trying to spin myself off, kind of like the cat that knows it's going to die and want to crawl under the bush and just leave me alone for a while, and then you want to come back and like remerge. I guess to your point, David, like we're always creating these public personas of ourselves, but you know we're trying to deal with something out of the public space.
What I think
or
you're
the
talking
public
about,
eye.
Jody, is like regrouping. You know, taking a time out and regrouping and self-reflecting. That's different than isolating and not reaching out for help.
Okay.
Yeah, there are people, I think there's a lot of people when they're in pain, they don't like others to feel their pain, and they don't want to put any pain on others. I know one thing, guys, ask people if they're okay. You know, even the people you love most in this world, you think they're okay, check in every now and then.
Right.
You okay? Everything all right? It's not that you let them know they care. They know that you care, but give them a little extra push to talk. If they don't, you guys will laugh. But if they do, you could be doing something special.
Yeah. I just want to say one thing. When you become cognizant that, gee, I haven't heard from Terry in a long time, or I haven't heard from John, that should be a red
Something's
flag.
outside of the normal behavior
Absolutely.
for that person.
And exactly what you're saying, David, that's the time to reach out. No man is an island. You know, we're all in this together.
You find out
We should
and
help
everyone's
each other.
surprised, talking more and expressing yourself more. And you know, sometimes when you feel pain, you just need someone else to hear it. And the second you let someone else hear it, you feel better about it. Bill, in the planning of the show, we had met for lunch last week, and this goes back to one. You're going to mention something new, I'm sure, to most of our viewers. I just mentioned it to Jody, but it's going to also get back to synergies. But you mentioned this new technique. I love the name of it. It's called havening. In the beginning of the show, it was thought of different ways. I looked at it as a safe haven. Havening, have you heard of it? You will now. Tell us a bit about it, Bill.
Okay. What I found havening to be is an incredibly powerful, quick healing treatment modality. And by the way, just to get back to synergy, one of the things that Jeannie and I very much have in common is our notion of different strokes for different folks. And Jeannie, as such, as well as I, have pursued different kinds of treatment approaches to get our clients to be able to begin to feel better more quickly and more effectively. And as such, Jeannie's involved in a lot of different treatments, as well as I. And when this treatment, havening, was first mentioned to me, I had no clue. I never even heard about it, and I thought I pretty much heard about everything. And it was actually presented to me by a Vietnam War veteran, Lou Falco, who's developing Operations Initiative, and he knows that I'm very much involved in trauma. And he said, this is going to be state-of-the-art treatment for trauma. It's being widely utilized in Britain, and it was developed actually by Dr. Rudin from Manhattan. And I went for the training in October, and I've been using it with all of my clients. As much as I'm blown away by it, they are too.
Can you take us through it?
Yeah, well, basically...
yeah, we're a little stressed.
Okay, well...
You could use some havening.
And one of the beautiful things about havening is that it's very simple to do, it's simple to learn, and and once you learn it, you can do it on your own.
Is it scalable? Because the trauma, I would, most people walking around, I wouldn't consider myself, somebody suffering trauma, but, stress. So is it scalable for somebody that's suffering, tremendously versus somebody that's suffering a bit?
Absolutely. So let me tell you how it was developed, in a rough kind of fashion. Dr. Rudin seemed to notice babies in distress. And he's seeing these babies crying, but being able to get soothed by the warm, havening touch, or so he says, by the mother or significant other. And the baby would calm down, and he said, wow, maybe there's something to this notion of touch. And indeed, he explores this further, and he learns that a whole bunch of what are called delta waves and a series of chemical reactions ensue that end up helping to release the upset in combination with different imagery. So havening is very simple to utilize. He utilizes the concept of touch as well as imagery. And then there's also another kind of distraction technique known as humming. So it's something that's very familiar to everyone.
I touch and hum all the time. Maybe I could be a Havening person.
This is going to be whistle while you work and like really stress
I could help Haven people. I like that.
You know what? You can. And yeah, and one of the things that that I'm certainly finding for myself is I'm able to teach my clients, and they do it on their own. And the feedback that I'm getting is that it's just been simply remarkable in terms of the fact that they're able to effectively regulate their emotional states.
Now, without going too crazy, the touch part is just, I'm just, am I hugging myself at work, or am I,
I'll give you an example of the Havening approach. So basically, it's going down from your shoulders to your elbows, rubbing the palms of your hand. You could do your forehead. Some people are uncomfortable with touching their face. You could do your forehead, your face, and you would just continue in this fashion. Very simple, very user-friendly, and the results are outstanding. I'll give you an example. I just gotten this unsolicited email from a colleague. It turns out we were attending a conference, a workshop, and what she ends up sharing with me is that she had a significant trauma 6 years earlier. And she was so excited about the fact that she was now going to get involved in an EMDR program. And Jeannie's an EMDR practitioner.
Which stands for?
Eye movement desensitization reprocessing.
Okay, all right. The acronyms, we're novices on this side.
You guys are the pros. We're marketing
Well,
people.
actually, people know it more as EMDR than the whole extended word. But EMDR has come to be recognized as state-of-the-art treatment for acute and post-traumatic stress disorder. So anyway, she was very excited. It turned out this woman had been raped 6 years earlier. So she shares that with me, and I said to her, would you want to get a head start, on your treatment? I could do this Havening thing with you. And she said, anything. You know what? I've been dealing with this, and it's turned my life upside down, and I've been a mess. And she's a lovely, lovely lady. And turns out, I said, well, you know what? We have a lunch break. How about the two of us sit down, and I'll begin the Havening with you. Let me tell you, David, and this is no joke.
He's telling you too, Joe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. I had lunch with David.
We're going to be doties. We're going to be doties soon, are you?
It all works good.
Sorry. So anyway, literally 20 minutes later, she said, oh my gosh, I can't believe how good I feel. And I asked her to think back to that upsetting memory. She said, it no longer bothers me. And so the email she got from me, and we did this about 3 months ago, and she said, you know what, Bill, I cannot thank you enough for you taking me on the side that day, and it's turned my life around. So much so that she's functioning great, and guess what? She never even pursued the EMDR training.
Is it almost a kind of form of self-hypnosis? Because I know, Jeannie, there's an aspect of that to what you do, where you're actually, bringing yourself to that place in that. So you're saying that when she looks back at that memory, she does not feel the same pain that she did previously. Mm-hmm. So is the touch making another connection, maybe on a hypnotic level with, something like that?
Well, I think with a lot of the treatments that we employ, you do go into an alpha state, which is a light daydreamy state of hypnosis, and it's very therapeutic. You don't always have to be in a deep, profound level of hypnosis to get positive results.
Yeah, well, what Dr. Rudin would refer to is that this treatment, all upset tends to get lodged in a particular part of our brain. Mm-hmm. And while it gets lodged in that part of our brain, it gets frozen there. Mm-hmm. And it stays there. And because it's frozen, it ends up being very much susceptible to anything similar to that upset. So sight, sounds, smells, thoughts will trigger or reactivate that original upset. So the beautiful thing is that apparently what he has learned, or discovered or unearthed, however you want to call it, is a de-icing technique. And the de-icing technique to unfreeze, that frozen component is through utilizing the havening touch and the distraction techniques, which happen to be in the form of imagery as well as humming.
It should be no surprise that I guess touch and sound. I know sometimes they'll think people are comatose in this world. They think they can't hear anything. Yet later on, something will happen years later, and they'll find out they heard every word you said. Particularly young boys and girls with autism happen. The opposite way. It's not about treating them, but they're very susceptible to touch. I mean, you touch them, and they have 100 things go off in their body. Jeannie, when Bill was talking about havening, I saw your head go towards him like an inquisitive way to learn, a sincere, inquisitive way to learn. One thing I like about both you and Jeannie, I know you do this all the time, and Bill, I know you do too, is you see new things, you learn, you're always up on your game. You're always I don't even like to call it, you're always up on your professionalism. You're always learning new things. We were talking last week about havening just when we were meeting for an appointment, and you said you even wanted to learn more about it. That goes back to the synergies and benefiting from professionals. You do that all the time. How do you therapists, does all therapists tend to work like that, or most, or you seem to be surrounded by them?
Well, we do surround ourselves with like-minded professionals. It's just like any physician, anybody in the helping fields, if you're not constantly learning, you're stale.
Bill
you don't
told
have
you
the new
that you
information.
should learn about havening. So as opposed to a therapist thinking, well, I know about havening, I don't want Jeannie to know about havening.
Right,
People could go to
protective
there was
data going on
no
there,
protective.
Look, we're holding hands.
Intellectual.
The thing about Bill and I,
each other on
we
the
really do. But the thing about Bill and I is we come from an abundant platform. We don't think in terms of lack and scarcity.
Right.
There's plenty for everyone.
Right.
I mean, what are we going to steal clients from each other? I mean, there's a plethora of clients out there, and
There are
we
times
want.
where you both work with the same client at times.
Absolutely. Yes, we
And there's so many
cross-refer
new
all the
things.
time.
There's so many new things coming up. Like, 10 or 15 years ago, we didn't think about cyberbullying. We weren't thinking about all the different things that are happening now that need either stress reduction or need intervention. The new drugs that are out there. When we were on the show a few weeks back.
Because I'm the healthcare correspondent here, what I want to really emphasize is that more and more folks are coming for treatment now, more than ever. People are anxious, and what's happening is the small t traumas that they have incurred in their lifetime are cumulative. So it's just as serious as if somebody was raped, came back from war, had a horrible car accident.
It's a repetitive
which are
stress
big
injury of another kind? Like, 'cause
absolutely. So it's cumulative, and what's the straw that breaks the camel's back?
Right. It might be something little,
There's
but
something that's the catalyst that sets them off. They come into treatment, and wouldn't you say that?
Absolutely.
I would say 90-95% of my clientele, it's anxiety.
Okay.
It just
And it's
spills
getting
over.
younger and younger and younger.
Yeah.
I'm treating 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 13, 14-year-olds with anxiety.
Bill, we told you when you came on that the time flies fast, and we don't even have that much time left. It has already flown by. We have a few minutes. We are talking to Long Islanders. We are talking to Long Island business owners. We are talking to people who, man, I hope you're happy every day, but there's a lot of unhappy people. There's a lot of stressed people out there. Something with the internet you were saying before, there wasn't cyberbullying. Man, we're getting stuff 24 hours a day, information overload coming at us. I don't even think the people know how to adjust yet to it. It will take decades for them to look back at this time in life and see it move from the pre-internet world to the internet world. And with that internet world came nonstop, 24/7 action, if you want it, of being inundated with information.
Overload, yeah.
Overloaded with
yeah.
information. A lot of people stressed. I'm going to ask both of you ladies first. Jeannie, two best tips for our audience, business owners, community people in Long Island to alleviate stress. Bill, you're next. Get your answer ready there, buddy.
Timeouts are not just for children, they're for adults too. Find healthy coping skills rather than, popping a beer bottle open or getting the cork out of a wine bottle. Give yourself a bubble bath. I'll leave
Guys
you
too?
You know what?
Bubble bath?
I used to
Nah,
laugh.
just kidding.
No, seriously? I used to laugh at my cousin for doing that, but let me tell you something. All his troubles went down the drain, and he was a new
That sounds like a
person.
That's a good
commercial.
visual.
Literally, I mean, he
Any
was raring
bubbles?
to
Can I have
go. He
little-
got
can I
his
have little
second
boats?
win.
Can I have little boats in there and stuff instead of
Sure you
bubbles?
can.
Okay.
And another really quick, easy tool, just put your thumb over your left eye, your the pads of your fingers over your right eye. Your legs are uncrossed. Within 30 seconds, you're going to feel a swoosh. Just a
Watch
gentle.
this, guys. 3 fingers and keep your legs on.
I call it cool hand Luke. And you just put it on your forehead like this, the pads of your fingers. You don't even have to apply heavy pressure. It goes with the acupressure meridians, right? And it just will soothe you.
Bill, a lot of stressed people out there. In 2013, you were voted Social Worker of the Year. Man, we got the Social Worker of the Year here. 2 best information for Long Islanders, man.
Well, what I'd like to say, I don't want to be remiss. This happens to be Social Work Month. Jeannie's a social worker, so am I. And as such, there's Nassau County has developed Social Work Wellness Day. And as a matter of fact, Jeannie's going to be doing a workshop over there, as well as I. And there are going to be several other workshops, all related to different kinds of.
Where did you say this taking place?
Malloy.
This is going to be at
Malloy?
Malloy College, and
Sunday,
that's Sunday,
30th.
March 30th, for you viewers out there, Sunday, March 30th. And it's not just open to social workers, it's open to all adults. And
Open to the community.
absolutely. And
That's in Rockville
hello,
Center?
Long Island. Come on out.
All right, very good. Jody, we got a few minutes left. Anything you want to leave our wonderful viewers with this week?
I think just in general, if we're all under stress, I think you need to understand what your trigger points are, and you need to kind of forgive yourself a little bit for it, take some time about it, and if you really just don't know what to do with it, definitely get in touch with somebody and reach out for help.
Jeannie Carahalius, last 30 seconds or so. What do you got for Long Island? Is there any last things you want to tell them today?
Know that you matter, know that you're valuable, and
Everybody
step
matters.
out of your own way, get out of your own way and unleash your full potential
Bill
now.
Sauls, therapist, 2013 Social Worker of the Year.
Yeah, I want to leave all of those with the notion of hope. You know, for those of you who are down and out and feeling tremendous pain, there is hope. And you can see it through people like Jeannie, myself. There's a whole community of helping, healing professionals out there, and you can get the help that you need. So please hang in there. There is hope. You don't need to self-medicate.
Wow, that was good. To our friends at Blue Chip, Corinne Caro, thank you. Donna Drake, thank you. Blue Chip Marketing, thank you. To end with the quote of the week, let me get it right. There are 3 kinds of people: those that make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who say, what the hell just happened? Get out there and make things happen. From Hello, Long Island. Goodbye, Long Island.
Bye, Long Island.
See you next week.